Hi everyone, welcome to our video today. We're going to do a video today on the Irish driving test. Now if you like the video, please click on the like button below the video and you can subscribe to our channel too. Now with the Irish driving test, the thing is, where do we begin? Well, now there's no place better to begin than with your application process. Firstly, make sure you apply for the driving test from the correct website. This is the correct website here to apply for your driving test from. It's the Road Safety Authority's website, and this is the application for the driving test page. Now, a lot of people out there will have you apply from other websites, but they actually charge you a little bit over and above what the actual fee for the driving test is. So be careful with that. Now I'll have the link. For this page in the description below. So don't worry, all the information that you need from this video will be in the description below. Now, when you apply for the driving test, make sure that you do plenty of study for the driving test. You should study this book here, The Rules of the Road. And again, the Rules of the Road book is available online for free. Again, I'll have the link in the description below for it. When you study the book now, make sure you give a good study, because from this book you'll be asked the questions on the day of your driving test. Inside in the office, before you go out to the car, they will ask you the questions from the book, and they'll ask you some of the signs, what the signs mean from the book as well. That's the road signs as you drive around. They'll have a little sign card with the signs on it, and you'll be asked what a number of the signs mean. So all the information is in this book. What a lot of people don't know actually as well is that the driving test sheet that the testers check with is also in the appendix of this book. So you'll actually know what you've been tested on from the driving test sheet in the appendix of this book. Now, when you go for your driving test, as I said, they'll ask you the questions and the signs from this book inside in the office. They'll also check your learner permit. So make sure that you bring your learner permit along with you on the day of the test. Otherwise you'll be sent home and you'll get no driving test done if you don't have your learner permit with you. That's vital that you have that. Also inside in the office, and the last thing they'll do with you is ask you to sign a form saying your car's roadworthy and that you're insured to drive it. And then you go out to the car with the driving tester. They may well ask you to open the bonnet if it's not lashing rain on the day of your test and at the time of your test. And you'll be asked to demonstrate how you do certain checks under the bonnet. For example, how would you check your coolant? How would you check your brake fluid? Where's your windscreen water bottle? How would you check the engine oil in the car? Or where would you put in or how would you check the steering in the car? Now, then once all that's completed, you close down the bonnet and you will go and sit in the car. The driving tester will then check the tyres in the car as they walk around the car. They will get you to put on the indicators on the front of the car and the back of the car, and they will check that the indicators are working properly. They get you to press the brake pedal. They'll check the brake lights are working in the back of the car. Now with the brake lights, you must have the left and right brake light working. It does not matter if the middle high mounted brake light is not working. You must have the left and right brake light working on the day of your test. Sometimes you might have loose connection, so if one of them isn't working, you could try just give the reflect unit a little tap with your hand to see does the brake light come on. And if the two brake lights come on, then they'll take you out. They'll continue with the driving test at that stage. They'll check that the L signs are on the car. They then will sit into the car with you. Of course, they will have checked the discs on the car as well, the tax and insurance disc. And if your car is greater than 4 years old, they'll also have to check the NCT disc on the car as well. All the discs must be current and valid, up to date, and fully legible. With the insurance disc, make sure you have the green strip on the side of the insurance disc. If that's not there, then they will say they will not continue with the driving test with you. Now, assuming everything's all right outside the car, and you got the underbonnet checks done properly and everything, and you're sitting in the car, next thing, the tester will sit into the car with you. Some days you'll have a supervisor maybe accompany you on the driving test as well. So they'll actually be sitting in the back of the car and the tester sits down with you in the front of the car. That's the only way they have a check of the testers, lads. So, you can't refuse it, I believe, but that's what happens. Anyway, when your driving tester sits into the car with you, they will ask you how you do a check on some of the controls in the car, such as the hazard lights, the back window heater, how the wipers work, how the lights work, including the fog lights, how the horn might work, how you adjust the fan in the car, the temperature control, how you adjust where the air has been blown in the car. And they will ask you three of these things, and then they will give you maybe 4 or 5 instructions before you leave the test centre car park. Such as they might instruct you that they might tell you that they will tell you that they're not going to talk to you except to tell you where to go. That if you don't hear the instruction again, to ask them to repeat it straight away, and that if they don't say left or right as you're approaching any junction, that you're to follow the course of the road you're driving on. They will say to you then that, are you happy that your doors are closed, your mirrors and seating and headrest are all adjusted properly, and then they will say to pull off in your own time, and you will go for the drive in your driving test. Now, the driving test generally lasts about 25 to 30 minutes. So on your driving test, you will do your reverse around the corner. You will be asked to turn the car around on the road, i.e. the turnabout, and you'll also be asked to pull in on the side of the road and do a little hill start for them. So pull in the side of the road and just on a hill somewhere they'll ask you, and then you'll pull off again. Now, on one of the times you pull in the side of the road, they will also ask you to demonstrate the driver hand signals that are again in the rules of the road book. So you should demonstrate those hand signals as well. Now, on our website here, drivinglessonscork.ie, our main website, we have a driving test advice page here for people doing the driving test. So maybe you can make use of that too. Again, I'll have the link to this below in the description of this video. Now, when you finish your driving test, you'll be brought back to the driving test centre, obviously, and you'll be asked to park the car between 2 white lines. Make sure you get the car between 2 white lines, because you don't want to be out of position when you park the car at the end of your test. And as you're going back to the driving test centre as well, keep the concentration on the whole time until you get out of your car at the end of your test and you have the door closed. Okay? A lot of people in the driving test in Ireland, they lose concentration during the test for various different reasons. But if you have plenty of driving experience, hopefully you won't lose the concentration levels too much as you drive around on your test. Some people, for example, they make one mistake, and when they make one mistake, then they just forget everything else they've learned in the driving lessons and the preparation they've done for the test on the way up to the test. It's a pity when that happens. So I often say to people, the driving test is not a test of anybody's mental ability, but it might be a test of a person's mental strength, in that when you make a mistake, can you recover and get back on the horse again, so to speak, and drive on, as if that mistake never happened, Typically somebody might hit the curb or in the reverse around the corner, for example, and that might just throw them off the rest of the test then. But as I said, if a mistake happens, try not to lose the plot. Refocus straight away as if that mistake never happened and drive on. If it's not too bad a mistake, and everything else is okay with your driving, you still could pass the driving test. So don't fret too much if you make one mistake. You know, making an omelette, not that I'm great at making omelets now myself, but you have to crack a few eggs, as I often say to people. So when you're doing your driving test, you might often come and make one mistake, one or two mistakes. Very few people pass the driving test with a completely blank sheet. Everybody makes one or few little mistakes. So, you know, as I said, keep the head if you think you make a mistake, and just drive on, and hopefully it'll go well for you at the end of the test. Any other advice for you? Not really. That's about it for the moment, folks. Just as I said, make plenty of preparations for your test. Don't be trying to slack off in lessons, lads. It just won't work that way. And don't cram either for your driving test. You might be able to cram for written exams that you do in school and college, but you will not be able to cram driving lessons for your driving test, okay? When you're doing your driving lessons for your driving test, I would say ask your driving instructor plenty of questions. Don't let anything go. If you don't understand something, ask your instructor straight away to repeat every instruction they give you if you don't understand it. And ask plenty of questions as well to your driving instructor. Any other information? Always arrive at the driving test centre too on time for the test. Okay. You should be parked inside the driving test centre. I would tell people with at least 15 or 20 minutes to go to your driving test, appointed time, and be inside in the waiting room for your driving test with about 10 or 15 minutes to go. And just wait inside in the driving test centre until such times your tester comes out and calls you and meets you and greets you for your driving test. And the last thing I'll say to you too, once you apply for the driving test, make sure to have a go at it. Don't apply for it and just not bother showing up. If you decide not to show up for your test, do give about 10 days notice so that you won't lose your application fee. If you give 10 days notice of cancellations for your driving test, which you're allowed to do on 2 occasions, you will not lose your test application fee, and they will give you another date free of charge. However, if you get a 3rd date for your driving test, then you will have to sit the test or you will lose the fee. Only recently there it has been said that a lot of people just apply for the driving test for the purpose of getting a subsequent learner permit for that year. So folks, if you do cancel the driving test, please do give 10 days notice and let the Road Safety Authority know that you're not going to do the driving test, so somebody else who is very much pressed to get a driving test done will be able to avail of that appointment. Think of other people too, please. So lads, that's all the information I can give you now on the Irish driving test at the moment. Hopefully that information will help you. And all the best with your driving test. Again, if you like the video, please click on the like button and subscribe to our channel. And all the links I've discussed from websites in the video will be put into the description below. So again, lads, thanks for watching the video. Good luck with your driving test. All the best. I really hope you do well, and give it your best shot. You know, go in with the attitude that you're going to give it your best shot, and you'll take what happens then. Okay, thank you folks. Bye, until next time.